Hi, my name is Beth Hiley here for Board Game Geek at Gen Con 50. I'm sitting down with Chris Leader from Calliope Games, and you've brought us Dicey Peaks.
Dicey Peaks, yes. This is a game by Scott Alms, and it is a push your luck dice game where you are trying to climb 37,000 feet to the summit of Yeti Mountain. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, yes. So this is actually in pre-release right now. It's not quite out yet, but we do have a small supply here at Gen Con.
Gotta be fast.
Yes, going fast. And Scott's in our booth actually. He's signed copies of it. He's playing with people right now, right this very moment. So in Dicey Peaks, you have these wonderful
I like those sort of frosted.
Oh. Yes, exactly. It's frosted, almost like chunks of ice, right?
Yeah.
Like glacial chunks that you get to roll.
In nice three different colors.
Yes, and that actually has a gameplay meaning why there's different colors. But what you do in the game is you take any 5 of these dice and you roll them to begin your turn. As I destroy the mountain. So you roll the dice, and then you make a very important decision every turn. Do I want to climb or do I want to rest?
Okay.
Because when you want to climb, you're going to be using these pickaxes in order to move your little climber pawns, which are these sculpted little miniatures, a couple spaces up the mountain, and then you will flip over and there will be different effects. Like in this case, this is fine. The climber stands here and it's just a nice view of the top. But you can have other things. Sometimes they will make you lose extra oxygen, because the other thing that happens when you move with pickaxes is you must lower your oxygen level. Oxygen is your currency here. I mean, this is what's important, right? So you will lose oxygen as you climb. You're also trying to avoid avalanches, because if you get 3 of those while you're climbing, you bust. And then there's Yetis, because this is Yeti Mountain. Yes, the Yetis are always around. Anytime you roll Yeti claws, you have to set those aside. They come out of the dice pool, and they're just generally a nuisance, because as we all know, Yetis are jerks. Right? So they come out of the pool, you're not able to do anything with them, and they can actually kind of hurt you and help other people a little bit later. But we talked about that decision. Do you want to climb or rest? Later in the game, if your oxygen is getting very low, you may choose to rest. And then when you roll your dice, you may want to grab the tents as you rest and move back up for every tent you roll. So sometimes you have to take a turn and rest a little bit and get your oxygen back. So we also talked about these Yetis. When you're resting, if you get 3 Yetis, you bust, because they've caught up to your little tent and they've slashed and slashed and slashed. Right. And the last thing that these Yetis do is, when you're further ahead on the mountain and other people are behind you, if you rolled any of these Yeti results, everybody else gets 1 free move up, because the Yetis are chasing them. So you have to be careful, because the more of these Yetis you get, the more you're actually helping the people who are behind you on the mountain.
And that's an interesting catch-up mechanic.
Yes, yeah.
Quick, the Yeti is coming!
Yeah, and they don't have to spend oxygen, because it's pure adrenaline at that point. They're just like, there's Yetis, we're gonna get out of here. So you make your way up the mountain, you go around and around and around like a big swirl, and then at the top, these 3 are like one space. This is the summit. Now, one of these 3 has the fabled red flag that you're trying to reach. The other 2 are blank. So when you move from this spot up to the top, you get to choose which one, and you flip it over. Now, it's a blank. And now the next player, if they're up here, they get a shot, and if they flip and they found the flag, boom, they won. Yes. And you have to be careful, because these numbers that are on here show you how much oxygen you can gain on a turn. So at the bottom, you can gain 6 oxygen. You can move pretty high. Up here, you're only doing 3, but when you're on the summit, you cannot gain oxygen. So when you make your push to the top, you better have enough oxygen, because if you run out, you can't get any more, your turn is over and your game is over. So that's what Dicey Peaks is all about. It's push your luck. It's 20 to 50 minutes. It's 2 to 6 players.
Now, you said there was a difference between these different
yes, I did.
colors of
Callback, yes. So imagine times of the day, right? When it's bright out like this, you're going to want to climb. So these have more pickaxes on them. These are geared towards climbing. The dark ones, it's like nighttime. They have more tents, and the ones in the middle between the 2 are balanced either way. 2 pickaxes, 2 tents, and then 1 of each of the hazards. So when you choose from the pool, you get to make that decision, and you can kind of see. You're not going to be able to, you won't know for sure, but you'll be able to make an educated guess how your turn might go based on the roll. So it's always 5 dice that you roll the first time, and then after you roll those, you make the decision to either stop and take the results, or keep rolling 3 dice at a time and push your luck to get better and better and better stuff.
Well, Chris, that Because for me personally, one of my favorite games is Skipfulströmer, which now has a different name, with Freeman Free Scots climbing a mountain.
I haven't heard of it, but I love that word.
I love games about climbing mountains. Loved K2, so this I think fits a nice lighter track on that.
Yeah, that's what Calliope Games is. We're all gateway and fillers, so we want to get people, kind of eased into the hobby and eased into the game. So if this can serve as a gateway into something a little bit bigger, then that's exactly what we're looking to do.
And I think you guys are also known for spectacular, high quality components too. I mean, it might not be hard. The little marker here to indicate how much oxygen you have is actually a little oxygen tank. I did want to sort of flip one of these little minis to show that they're actually sort of perched on the edge of a little cliff there, and ready to venture forth. Hopefully not off the cliff.
Yeah, we try. I mean, this is a $30 game, so we try to pack as much as we can. I mean, we stretch that production quote as far as we possibly can to get the highest quality stuff we can
and
make it affordable.
plays all the way up to 6.
All the way up to 6,
so.
and in less than an hour. I mean, it's not like 6 players. You're going to be sitting there going, "Oh, will this game end? I wish a Yeti would just steal my soul and leave me to die."
If I had a nickel for every time I heard that, right?
Yeah, it's that's just how life goes sometimes. If you're ready for Yeti,
then you should check out Dicey Peaks, which is from Calliope Games. And Chris, thank you so much for letting us take a look.
you are quite welcome.